Did a former coroner in South Carolina use his skills around the dead to assist in murdering his love affair's ex-boyfriend? She isn't innocent in this either, and she also used to work in the coroner's office. You're going to hear from the reporter in the courtroom during this disturbing trial. This is Uncovered. Let's start first with the victim, because that is what's most important in this case. This is Gregory Rice, who's a father of 4 kids living in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. In 2020, he disappeared. Poof, gone. No one knew where he went. About a month later, a woman in Myrtle Beach is catfishing in a local river, and she stumbles upon, I can't even imagine what this was like, a tarp floating in the water. We're going to show it to you. And she goes over to the tarp and she starts sort of, moving it a little bit. And she sees that there is a male body in this tarp. So she promptly calls 911. They arrive. The body is identified as Gregory Rice. Police at this point know that he has been murdered. They find 5 gunshot wounds in his body. So police, as they usually do, go to the significant other. In this case, it's Meagan Jackson. Now, the two of them were only boyfriend-girlfriend, and they had been separated from each other for a while, but they had 4 kids together. So they go to Meagan Jackson. They say, "Where were you the night that Greg Rice disappeared?" And she said, "Well, the whole night I was with my boyfriend, Christopher Dontel. He's a local coroner there in Myrtle Beach, and he is married." Investigators later learned that the two of them, Meagan Jackson and Chris Dontel, had been having an affair for like a year. Police later uncover surveillance video that shows Chris Dontel walking out of a hardware store carrying the exact things that were used to dispose of the body of Greg Rice. Meagan Jackson and Chris Dontel go on trial for the murder of Greg Rice. And very quickly, Chris Dontel, he flips and he says, "I had nothing to do with shooting him. That was all Meagan Jackson." And prosecutors said, "Okay, fine. You need to testify against her." And he said, "I will do that." And so he only went up for trial for disposing of Greg Rice's body. Our reporter, Alexa Lewis of the Sun News, was there in the courtroom during this trial. Alexa, first I want you to discuss, did prosecutors believe that because Meagan Jackson and Chris Dontel worked in a coroner's office, that they had kind of like the skills and the knowledge to pull this whole thing off?
It was definitely brought up throughout the trial that the fact that they had so much experience transporting bodies, that probably made the process a little bit smoother for them. I think it also played into their access to where they did end up keeping the body in a refrigerated unit overnight before disposing of it. But yeah, it seemed like some of the ins and outs of that night were a little maybe blurry, but it was definitely kind of emphasized at the trial. They essentially knew what they were doing when it came to getting the body from point A to point B.
When Chris Dontel testified against Meagan Jackson, what did he say?
He said that he helped her dispose of the body because she had threatened to kill him and that he was worried she would follow through on that. He'd said that in the past, she had kind of in passing mentioned wanting to kill Greg Rice or her children or him, but it seemed, I guess, just kind of like a joke, like he didn't think much of it. And then after, I guess, the shooting of Greg Rice, he started to take it more seriously. And then essentially he said he just carried out what she asked him to do because he was feared for his own life and his family.
Alexa, there also was this moment in the courtroom when Greg Rice's daughter spoke directly to Chris Dontel. Can you tell me about that?
She spoke a lot about just how she and her siblings would never get to live a normal life after this, and how they essentially lost both of their parents through this process. She did speak a lot about how Christopher Dontel had become close to like her mother and she and her siblings, and that he had like comforted her while she was crying about the fact that her father was missing. And then later, when she found out that he was actually involved in that, that just made it hurt 10 times worse. So he offered to, I guess, have them come visit and offer any kind of closure he could, but she was kind of, I don't think, ready for that at the time. She was pretty, just felt kind of betrayed on all sides, it seemed like.
Alexa Lewis, thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much.
I see a lot of similarities in the true crime stories that I cover. And one of them is it's always the kids that are getting hurt. The adults, the parents, they go out and make all these stupid decisions and hurt each other and kill. And it's the kids that end up being hurt in the process. They're the ones that have to carry this trauma with them as they grow up, as they become adults. And where do you think that trauma goes? To their kids and then their kids. And so adults, parents need to think about what they're doing, because they're not just hurting the other person, they're also hurting their children. For more true crime stories with depth, accountability, and impact, subscribe to Us Weekly's YouTube channel or visit uncoveredwithkristenthorne.com.